how I do. Let go of a prayer for you, just a sweet word. The table is prepared for you. Wishing you Godspeed, glory. There will be mountains you won't move. Still, I'll always be there for you, how I do. I'll let go of my claim on you. It's a free world. You look down on where you came from sometimes, but you'll have this place to call home always. This love will be ours until the end time. This love till the time we die. I'll always love you until the time we die.
And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll say it clear, I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I traveled each and every highway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do, saw it through without exemption. I planned each charted course, each careful step along the byway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when I bit off more than I could chew. But through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it up and spit it out. I faced it all, and I stood tall, and did it my way. I've loved, I've laughed and cried, I've had my fill, my share of losing, and now As tears subside, I find it all so amusing to think I did all that, and may I say, not in a shy way, oh no, not me. I did it my way. For what is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he has not to say the things he truly feels, and not the words of one who kneels. The record shows I took the blows and did it my way. Yes, it was my way.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Melbourne Cricket Club, and welcome to the send-off for our dearly loved and departed Roddy Williams. Welcome to those who are listening to us our live stream. I am your moderator for this function, right? But I'll be with you all day. Let me start off proceedings by asking our Reverend to come and say prayers. I will speak to you a little later on the program. Thank you. Mr. Minister.
Let us bow our heads in prayer. In the name of God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, Amen. Dear Lord, we are so grateful that you have made us all in your own image, giving us gifts and talents with which to serve you. We thank you for Ruddy's life and all the years that many have shared with him. We lift him to you today in honor of the good we saw in him and the love that was felt from him. Please give us the strength to leave him in your care, in the knowledge of eternal life. Grant unto him peaceful rest from all his labor. Give to his family and friends the strength and the courage to face the days that lie ahead of them without his presence. As we bid farewell to our brother, we pray that we will come to know you more, to love you more, and to serve you more. Give us peace in this life and continue to watch over us. And whatever we say and do at this funeral service this morning, this remembrance service, may it, Lord, be to your honor and to your glory. Through Jesus Christ, our Lord, who taught us to pray, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. And let the people of God say, Amen.
Ladies again, I am back. I'm here, according to the program, to bring you greetings. Let me get some protocols. All right. Welcome first to the family members, the children, and their mothers. Will the children stand, please? Children who are here. I know that everybody not here. I have three, all of them here? Oh? Who's not here? All right, that's not on. Maybe just come in, come on in. Come on in. Just join the standing class. All right, let me do this. I'm going to call in here, so this is actually going to introduce themselves. Thanks very much. And let me say welcome to their parents, their mothers, right? I see Donna, I see Maria, right? I see Anne, and I see Desiree. This is a sad occasion, indeed, for me. I'm privileged to have been asked to be a part of this function, because I've known Rod Williams from 1972. And in fact, it's before I even became an active member in Melbourne Cricket Club. When I started my career in accounting, Roddy Williams ran a business by the name of Rents Car Rentals Limited, situated on Headley Avenue. He would come to the office and to do his annual review of his accounts. That's when I first met him. And life is such a wonderful thing if you live long. All right? While working there, and later on, I realized that one of my co-workers, Ron Burgess, who later became Roddy Williams' brother-in-law, right? And I learned this later in life at a party when I saw Ron. I said, Ron, what were you here? And he introduced me to Maria. Right? I also met Roddy's brother, younger brother, who predeceased him, right? He was at Kingston College while I was there. What's his name? Michael, right. We didn't call him Michael at school. He was Stowe, right? And anybody knows Colin Milburn, Stowe would put him to shame, right? So when I came to Melbourne and I saw Stowe, then I realized the association between both Williams, all right? Now, Roddy's a man who has given his life, or made Melbourne his life, right? You could never find a man who was more dedicated than Roddy Williams. We have another Roddy who I'll tell you about shortly. From the first time Roddy came here, applied for membership, and the other Roddy I'm speaking about is Roddy Mazuka, invited him at a training practice to have a bat and a ball. This is 1966, 67, right? He has never left this club one day. Only now, because we were closed March 1920, because of the virus, you want to call it. They say COVID-19, I would call it Covetous-19. Because it's only somebody who's so bad-minded who could be doing what it is doing to us. Everybody in here now is wearing masks. We have all become bandits. Right? When I used to watch movies, people in masks are bandits. Right? That's what we have turned out to be. Right? Yeah, so Roddy Williams, Roddy Mazuka. Roddy, would you stand? Because you're one of the oldest members here now from the club. Roddy Mazuka, please. That's Roddy Mazuka. And there's some time in the club life that we mix up both Roddys, because they were both called Skip. Roddy Mazuka was called Skip because he was captain of the Melbourne Youth Club. So he was called Skip, and then the other Roddy, at a later date, became a captain of Melbourne Cricket Club. So they were all both called Skip. So we have been fortunate to have two great people in our lives, two Roddys, right? Similarly, we have had two great Michaels in our life, right? Michael Holding and Michael Hoshu. Michael, will you stand? Michael Hoshu and Ronnie Mazuka are life members of the club, and two of the three trustees of Melbourne Cricket Club. Sorry for taking so long, but I think I need to get some of this history straight. And I think later on during the program, I'll tell you some more. Okay? So let's get into the other section, enough of me. And let me ask the president of the cricket club, Mr. Mark Nita, to come and address us.
Thank you very much, Mr. Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Gale. At one point, I thought that I would just sit down, since it seemed as if you were giving the tribute from Melbourne. But I understand the sentiment because of the close relationship that Ruddy had, not only with Richie, but with all of us here at Melbourne. So let me start by, first of all, on behalf of my family and the Melbourne family, give our deepest condolences to Ruddy's family. As you guys understand, Melbourne and Ruddy are synonymous. And we consider Roddy Williams to be a great Melbourne man. And we don't use the term lightly when we say great. We mean great Melbourne man. I hope I can do him justice, because it's going to be very difficult for me to do so, considering the length of time that he contributed to this club and the sacrifices that he made so that Melbourne can be the institution that it is today. I'm going to try my best. So let me start. Roddy Williams was a great Melbourne man, as I said previously. Very few, certainly of my generation, can claim to have the contribution to Melbourne that Roddy Williams did. Very few have displayed the passion, commitment, and sense of duty to the club. Now, don't get me wrong. Melbourne, during my time, has been blessed with some truly outstanding persons who have committed their lives to the club. People like the late George Sterling, Tony Becker, recently deceased, members of the Reese family, both Eggy and the current secretary, Neil, Richie Gale, former president, and somebody who's been involved in the club for so many years. Roddy Mazuka, of course, who has given so much to this club. He is virtually and literally, we consider him to be the pillars of this foundation, because if you look around, even the walls around the club, he was responsible in building. And part of this structure that we are currently in, it was part of his work and his block making, so-called block making factory at the back. Roddy, that has been about 20, 30 years, and we're still standing, so he did a really good job with those blocks. And of course, the Horseshoe family. Now, if you look around and see the club decorated like this, Monica Horseshoe, and let me say this, and I keep on saying this. Every time she says, Mr. President, I can't do no more, all we need to do is ask her, and she said, last time. But she always turns out and gives of her best. So I want to thank you, Monica, for putting this all together for us. And quite appropriately, her husband is sitting behind her, Mickey Horseshoe. Now, all the people that I mentioned, of course, are part of what we consider to the Melbourne elite. And Roddy fit right into that category. Ruddy joined Melbourne in 1967, and he came from Lucas, where, as he told me personally, he wasn't given an opportunity to play cricket. And so, after a few choice words to the leadership of Lucas, and we know Ruddy is quite capable of a few choice words, he moved on to Melbourne. Let me pause to thank Lucas for dealing with him unfairly. When Ruddy came to Melbourne, he played one Junior Cup match before being promoted to the Senior Cup side under the dead captain, Teddy Griffith. In 1968, the Melbourne cricket team traveled to Cayman Islands, came back to Jamaica and won the Senior Cup that year. Ruddy also became a member of the Melbourne executive that year. Ruddy captained Melbourne from 1972 to 1977 and won the Senior Cup title in 72, 74, and 75. During those years, Melbourne also won the J.K. Holt in 1973, 75, and 77. And I'm proud to say that I was a part of that 1977 team, although I certainly don't look it, and I understand. I was 16 at the time. Rodney in 1977 became the chairman of our social hall committee and was in charge of several fundraising events. He organized the various luncheons that we had, the Monday night limes, and of course, the poker games right in that room. I spent many an evening in that room. The house draw from the poker games, and I'm sorry, Reverend, speaking about poker in your presence. Cash him in. I like you. The house draw was 20%, and it went straight to the Melbourne coffers. One of the things that Ruddy did during his social hall chairmanship was to get the visiting territorial teams to visit Melbourne at the end of each game. Now, let me explain to you, back in those days, when the regional tournament was played, Jamaica, Barbados, Guyana, et cetera, those games would start on Friday. They'd go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. At the end of these games, after a while, it became a tradition that the teams would come here to Melbourne. Of course, we were the envy of all the clubs in Jamaica because we would get some of the cricket legends to come here. And of course, to our members, to rub shoulders with the cricket greats of that era, that was quite an achievement. Ruddy was responsible for that. After giving up the Melbourne captaincy in 1977, Ruddy became chairman of the selection committee and manager of the Senior Cup team. As good as Ruddy was as a captain, he really shone, and he showed his brilliance as a Melbourne selector and manager. He presided over teams that won over 25 trophies, all told, during 1978 to 1992, 14 years in which he was the chairman and manager of the Senior Cup team. Now that is a remarkable achievement. I'm not going to get into his accomplishments as the chairman of the National Selection Committee, because we have the president here, Mr. Billy Heaven, which I'm sure will do his role as a national selector justice. But I have to say that Ruddy was the most successful cricket chairman that this country has ever had. That's quite an achievement. In the latter years, when his health and eyesight failed, and he could no longer drive, Ruddy would take a taxi here every afternoon because Melbourne was his home. I hear his son there saying the stress. And I understand exactly what he means, and I'm going to tell you what he means. When Ruddy came in the evenings, and either either one of the children, the daughters or Asif himself, would come for him. Ruddy never ready yet. And Ruddy would come to me and complain and say, Skipper, they want me to leave already. I'm not going anywhere. And it was literally a fight to get him out here in the evenings. Such was his love for Melbourne Cricket Club. One of the things that used to frighten me, actually, when Roddy came here, especially on those days when I would go beside him and he would say, who that? I'm looking at me, I can't see me. Is how he would negotiate himself around the club, to the bathroom. Sometimes he'd go for a walk outside. And I would literally walk behind him sometimes because you know that little ramp going down there, I was always afraid that Roddy would step off the ramp. But let me tell you, he wasn't much of a batsman during his time, but he would miggle that ramp every time he go down. He knew this place inside out, literally. Because as I said, this was his home. Now, please forgive me, family. I really don't know if it's appropriate for me to say this at this time. However, he told me that Melbourne mash up in family life. Suppose you guys can laugh now, right? And say, Skip, he said to me, Skipper, don't make it mash up your married life like my one, you know. And I tried my best. My wife reminds me every day. But such was his passion for the club. Roddy loved Melbourne, and he showed it every day. Now, I don't want to be too long here, but there are a few things I have to say about Roddy before I leave the podium, as it concerns me, and I want to say the significant contribution that he made to so many of us as youngsters at the time. The first time I knew who Roddy Williams was, I was a 13-year-old schoolboy playing for Boys Town. And we came to Melbourne to play against Melbourne. I was batting at number 6 or 7. And when the batsman got out and I walked from the pavilion there, Roddy was feeling somewhere over that side. And he made it his duty to walk towards me and came up to me and he said, little boy, how are you doing out here? A big man cricket this, you know? Of course, I never said anything. And when I went to bat, he right away brought on Cecil Lawson. 6'7", the Jamaica fast bowler. And he bowled 6 bouncers to me as if he wanted to kill me. Fortunately for me, I got an edge on the last ball. And I was out caught behind Roddy Mazuka catch me. I said fortunate, because to tell you the truth, I didn't want to spend not even 1 more minute out there. Such was a man. He played the cricket really, really hard. And those of us who grew up under his tutelage understood that. And he indoctrinated us in that culture. So let me fast forward 2 years later. You know, God have a way of just making everything look a little comical. 2 years later, I leave Boys Town and I come to Melbourne. My first Senior Cup match was supposed to be against Boys Town, right here. When you look in the changing room, Michael Holding, Cecil Lawson, Arthur Barrett, Bruce wasn't on that side. Sam Morgan, Sam Allen, big time team. There's no way I could make that team. You know what Roddy Williams did? Roddy dropped himself so I could play. So, Roddy drops himself, I played. I made 72. The rest is history. Went on to play for Melbourne for so many years. And I had the privilege of playing under him as my captain. When he retired, and eventually, in 1982, 22-year-old, and Melbourne had won Senior Cup for quite a number of years. And Roddy was a manager at the side at the time. Arthur Barrett was the captain. And as I said, we weren't doing well. And Roddy came to me and said, I will make you captain. I said, I don't know. So I said, but Skip, how that going to happen? We're going to drop Bobby. He said, you know, Bobby over the hill. He did well for Melbourne, but I'm going to talk to him and see if he'll play under you. Well, Bobby decided not to play under me. And Bobby retired from Melbourne that year. But Roddy promoted me to captain. That same year, we went on to win the Pepsi competition. We actually shared the cup with St. Catherine, match at Sabina Park. And that's how I became captain at Melbourne. During that time, Roddy Williams was my biggest supporter. Just a brilliant tactician and a man who could inspire greatness amongst the players. We had a tradition, we developed a tradition during that time that we would meet here on a Friday afternoons, right in that room, where we would plot and plan the demise of all the teams that we would play against. And I really mean demise, because we would terrorize teams. We would use the same toughness that Roddy brought to the game, that he taught us so well, along with tactical precision to undermine the best teams in this country. And at the time, we had some really outstanding players. We look at Kensington, the Lawrence Rose and the Basil Williams, and you look at Kingston and the Maurice Fosters, etc., Dujan. And we became a force to reckon with in Senior Cup. We won trophy after trophy after trophy under Rodney Williams being the manager. But in addition to that, during that time, he was just brilliant in identifying talent and telling me, Skip, captain, you have to play this little boy. And I remember people like Salesman and these youngsters who were just coming out of Sunlight Cup. He would encourage us to play them. And we formed a team that when most visiting teams came through that gate, they knew they would be beat. They came to get their beaten and go home. But that contribution that he made to me as captain continued way, way beyond that. When I became president of Melbourne, he was my biggest supporter. And it's almost as if everything that I accomplished during those years, and that's from 2014 until now, Ruddy made me feel as if he was a part of it. And so I'm so grateful for that support during the years. Now let me say this, I am speaking about what the contribution he made to my career. And let me just backtrack for 1 minute. I don't know, how can I forget or not mention those many, many evenings when Maria and Ruddy would carry me home. They used to live up Forest Hills. I would live Stirling Castle. And every evening as a youngster, when I'm finished training here, I would wait. Maria would come and pick up Ruddy, and they would take me home evening after evening after evening. And so thank you, Maria. But his mentorship went way beyond Mark Nita. He mentored generations of cricketers, from the Michael Holdings, the Courtney Walshes, the Nikita Miller, the Samuelses, the Robert and Marlon. And if they were here today, and I know some of them are giving tributes, they will speak about the significant way in which he impacted their lives. Many of them got to where they were as a result of Ruddy and what he did for them. I know, for argument's sake, somebody like Nikita Miller, he literally went to the country for Nikita Miller and brought him here. Nikita was going to go to Kensington, and he was chairman of the selectors at the time, and he insisted that he came here, and of course the rest is history. Nikita goes on to play for Jamaica, for the West Indies, become the leading wicket taker in the region. I'm sorry about that. Mikey Holding, Courtney Walsh, all of us, and many other cricketers who, too numerous to mention, not only impact them in their cricketing lives, but just in life in general. And so, Ruddy was a father figure, a teacher, a provider of inspiration to many of us in life, and of course, as I said, representing, many of us went on to represent country and the region. So to my friend, my mentor, the great man, Ruddy Williams. Rest in peace, manage. Gone, but never forgotten. Thank you. I'm going to do two things before I leave. I'm going to read a citation from the Cricket Hall of Fame in the US, and I'm going to present it to Hanif. And the Cricket Hall of Fame is very significant. They only recognize people in the region who they think have made exceptional contributions to the game of cricket. So let me read what they have to say. Be it known to all that we hereby honor the life and memory of the late Ruddy Williams, who sadly passed away January 1st, 2022. Ruddy possessed a good knowledge of the game of cricket and was an accomplished player. He became a member of the Melbourne team, Kingston, and Jamaica in the 1960s. Ruddy held every position on and off the field at Melbourne. He was captain, manager, chairman of selectors, most of all, husband, father, friend, and a people person. He was an outstanding mentor to all and played a significant role in players' development at the organization. He served as chairman of the selectors at the Jamaica Cricket Association. We are deeply saddened by his loss, but feel lucky that we got to know him. Few times in one life do you come across a person with such great passion, grace, and enterprise. We hope that all who knew him will find some comfort in reflecting on their memories of him. Please accept our deepest and sincere condolences, and it is signed by the executive, Michael Chambers, and Lloyd Dixon, the committee chairman. Asif. What do you call it? Unfortunately, that's all we do. I have one more surprise before I leave. The Honorable Courtney Walsh, and I mentioned how impactful Ruddy was on all our lives, including Courtney, has a tribute that he wants to share. So if you guys could just cue it up for us. You ready?
Greetings to all Melbourneites, all the way from South Africa. Very sorry I'm not there to join with you in the life and Thanksgiving ceremony for our beloved Ruddy Williams. Ruddy Williams is a stalwart at Melbourne, and he's been there for years. My early recollection with Ruddy Williams was as a youngster, watching him captain the senior team when I used to score the board. For the away games, you know, if you drive with him, you were sure to make sure that he's going to stop at the best jerk pork pan. So we used to call him Ruddy Pork, we as youngsters, because he loved pork so much. Get to know him over the years, calling him manager. He was a chief selector for the Jamaica national team. He was a manager for the Melbourne Senior Cup team for a number of years. And he would always be encouraging the youngsters to come out and play and give as much support as he can. Remember back in the days when he used to have his Friday evening meetings, he used to ask my mom to do the cooking for him, to ensure, tell her the menu that he wants, make the arrangements, and you know, we used to have meetings, have a meal after the meeting or during the meeting or before, and just discuss cricket, try to sort of widen our range and brains on cricket. Whatever tips he would give you as a youngster, you know, is something that you could think about and work with as you go along. And he would always try to give you good, solid advice, you know, to improve your game, what you might see lacking, and how you go about doing it. So it's very sad to hear the news of Ruddy, managed, as he was affectionately called. May his soul rest in peace. The Melbourne family and his entire family has missed a stalwart. He was always there for Melbourne whenever called upon. Sometimes he would be the first to arrive at the club in the afternoon and the last to leave in the evening. You know, my later stage with him was playing some good dominoes with his partners or French. You know, we had some good fun times. Sorry I'm not there with you. Walk good, Uncle Rod, walk good. Sleep in peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Please,
Thank you again. Before I introduce the next speaker, Mr. Evan, you understand that in cricket, that sometimes you line up to bat and you have to wait a long time. All right? Mark, I don't want anybody who's coming to speak to feel that they are constrained by time. Everything in Rodney Williams' life was organized, even down to his death. Rodney Williams had a peep in 2022 and said, "This is not for me. I'm going to declare my innings closed." Right? So this function started at 10 o'clock, just like cricket. And it ends at 6. So we're going to have lunch and we're going to have tea. So be prepared. Right? I said, don't want anybody who's coming to this podium to feel constrained by time as well. And Mark, you didn't bat as long as you were expected to. You were supposed to take us to lunch. All right? So,
I lost my house stone.
Yeah.
My apologies.
Mr. Evan, I'm going to invite you to come and address us. Please, sir. President of the Jamaica Cricket Association.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Jamaica Cricket Association, I pay special tribute to the late Ruddy Williams. Let me express sincere condolences to his family and friends, the entire Melbourne family, of which I'm a part. And I pray that you will find strength and courage to cope with this great loss. This is a very sad day cricket has lost an excellent sportsman, a true friend, and a great contributor to the game at every level. So there is a real sense of loss to the entire cricket fraternity here at Melbourne and in Jamaica. Ruddy was a leader and a servant leader of the game of cricket. He led by example. He played a pivotal role in the development of cricket at all levels, at the club level, at the national level, and at the regional level. As Mark said, he served as chairman of selectors, that's the national selection panel, for many years. And I will say, I can safely say, he was the most successful one to date. And I do not believe that will be surpassed. It can only be equal. He had a vision for the game, and he coupled that vision with his enormous ability to identify talents. And he knew exactly what to do, what to look for, and he also knew how to engage these young minds to be interested in cricket. He was among a select group of individuals who devoted their lifetime to the development of cricket in Jamaica. As Mark said, that of course comes with consequences. And those of us who get involved in these things will have to work out that other side of life. In recognition of his unwavering support to cricket, the JCA made Ruddy Williams a life member in 2019. So Ruddy Williams, up to the time of his passing, and I believe that continues, Mark, is a life member of the Jamaica Cricket Association. One of the things we have not done particularly well in Jamaica is a system of recognition for people who have made sterling contribution to cricket. And it is something that both Melbourne and admittedly the Jamaica Cricket Association will have to pay keen attention to. We need to recognize those who serve the game, develop the game, promote the game, and get others to be interested. Within the cricket fraternity, he will be missed for his dedication and strong sense of volunteerism. And I underline the word volunteerism because that has somehow gone through the window. Nowadays, every time you ask somebody to do something, they ask you how much. So nobody is prepared anymore to serve the game of cricket in a volunteer capacity. Everybody wants something. Ruddy was not that. Ruddy volunteered his expertise, his time, his skills to the game of cricket simply because of his love for the game. Ruddy understood the obligation of duty and the influence of example. He understood the power of kindness and the worth of character. And that's a significant word to me, character. So, brothers and sisters, it is only natural that we should mourn. Ruddy is no longer a part of our lives. However, while the comfort of having a friend may indeed be lost, the comfort of having had that friend will never, ever be lost. He leaves a legacy, and a strong legacy, that will continue to impact the lives of many. Not only those he came in contact with, but those to come. So this morning, we try to match and reconcile the grief of losing him with the joy of having him. We all come to ponder the life and death of a truly remarkable and wonderful person. To pay our last respects, as they say, and to bid a sad but fond farewell to him. We are here so that in our own way, we can honor, celebrate, and pay tribute to his life, and in doing so, express our sincere admiration for him. Today, we celebrate the life of Ruddy Williams as his innings comes to a close. May his soul rest in eternal peace, and may life perpetual shine upon him. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Mr. Heaven. I thought you would have batted a little longer. Now remember, we're having a water break, as in cricket, after the first hour, we have water. So you're having a water break now, right? But unlike cricket, the game goes on, right? So we have just gone the first hour. Do we have a time constraint, Mr. Video Man? What is it? How many hours? Eh? Oh, you have a time constraint. Oh, I just want to know, because this program going on until 6, when the cows come in. Okay? So thanks, Mr. Evan. I have to pass on a message from Mr. Lyndell Wright, former president of the Jamaica Cricket Association, captain of Boys Town, stalwart in cricket, Jamaican player, that he's sorry that he cannot be here, unavoidably. Right, so I'm conveying that to the family. I think we have enough time that I could recognize some people, some other people who are here. Right? In Ruddy's life and business, he not only assisted people at Melbourne, but he also employed people from Melbourne Cricket Club. And one of those persons who I know she was a right hand to him is here with us. Grace, will you please stand? All right. Grace is the daughter of Mrs. Elgita Gordon, who only recently visited us from America. Right. I'm so pleased to see her here. Right. There are other people I can remember that he employed, Ezra, Peony, a couple others. All right? So, Ruddy's life has been wonderful. We have a lot to thank him for. I don't know when we'll ever stop thanking him for what he has done for Melbourne and for the people he has come in touch with. There are two things about Ruddy's life, right? Food and fun. That's Ruddy. Right? You heard about the poke games, you knew about the domino, the cutters, the French, and all that. Right? Ruddy used to say to Richie, I look forward to going to work every day. And you know why? Because when his work is over, Melbourne. Right? So he was one of the first person here in the evenings, and one of the last to leave. There were occasions that we played card Friday night and into Saturday morning. Right? All night. And food, there's never event that he's involved in that there's no food. If there's a tea meeting, he organizes food. Right? He'd get up early in the morning and make breakfast if he has an early match and all that. Food. and music. He loved his music. His brother, who predeceased him, as I told you before, had this discotheque, LTD Disco. Right? He loved his music. Plenty of parties at Melbourne, plenty of parties at his house. Right? So, we are in the second hour. All right, I remember, we're going on until 6 o'clock. At this point in time, we're going to have, who's this? Jamaica Cricket Association Umpire. Is he here? Oh yes, you're here, man. You couldn't do that with an umpire. I mean, Ruddy did that, you know, umpiring. There are a lot of games here that run your umpire. Razak can tell you, one of the last cricket single wicket we played, Roddy Williams was the umpire for the single wicket. Razak and I had a confrontation. He got the better of me. Right? But Roddy did everything where the game is concerned. So Mr. Umpire, representing umpires, come on speak. And I said, there's no time constraint for this gentleman that we are talking about.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Pleasant good morning. Mr. Chairman, listening to you, you seem to be one of those who enjoy batsmen playing long innings. I like that when it is the West Indies. If it is not, then I don't find it fascinating. However, when I played the game, I was not known to be a batsman to play long innings. So I hope I don't disappoint you, as my stay at the wicket is going to be very short. It's my pleasure as Honorary Secretary of the Jamaica Cricket Umpires Association to give this tribute on our behalf. The Jamaica Cricket Umpires Association would like to extend our condolences to the family and friends of the late Ruddy Williams, a man who was known for his commitment and dedication to the sport of cricket. As a body, we share in the grief being experienced by his family and indeed by all his associates. As we reflect on our association with Ruddy, we remember the warm welcome, his gentle and humble demeanor, his spirit of cooperation, all of which helped to set the stage for a good day of cricket here at Melbourne. From an umpiring perspective, this sportsman represented the true spirit of the game. He was very receptive to whoever was appointed for his games. He was not known to engage in any open altercations with players or officials. He gave us excellent support on and off the field and saw to it that the players maintained their respect for us as stewards of the game. He at all times maintained a principled and professional position. Reminiscing with former players from Melbourne who were under his charge, we were told that Ruddy would never tolerate any form of dissent from them if ever they felt aggrieved by what they perceived was a wrong decision made by us umpires. Unlike some other club managers, Ruddy was engaging, accommodative, and hospitable. He knew some of us very well, Over time, he became familiar with even our very diet. As soon as you arrived, he would signal the canteen staff to make whatever adjustments they could to facilitate those of us during the luncheon session. Our experience was that whatever he could do to enhance the atmosphere for a good day's cricket, Ruddy would do it. We have very fond memories being around Ruddy and other officials as we as an association gave back to events held here by the club. We recall the Milo Festival. Is that what it was called? Right, yes. And the summer camps. Ruddy was busy during these sessions. He was a visible character, as I said before, both on and off the field, always providing answers or an explanation for any existing situation. As one who at various times oversaw some of the finest cricketers who represented Jamaica, one could sense the love, respect, and admiration that the players had for him. Manage, as he was affectionately called, was to them like a shepherd tending to his flock. Death is one of those pieces of human reality that leaves us shocked, empty, and uncomprehending. It has robbed the cricketing fraternity of one who has made his mark and who has stamped his class in various aspects of the sport. The managing committee and the entire membership of the Jamaica Cricket Umpires Association share in this loss. We empathize with the family and the entire Melbourne fraternity as we pay tribute to the memory of one who served the sport with distinction. It is said that good men must die, but death cannot kill their names. May his soul rest in peace.
Thanks very much, Mr. Umpire. You know, in cricket, if you don't bat long, you get moved down the order. Right? So I advise that those of you who are coming to the wicket that have plans to move up the order is to spend some time on the crease. All right, before I introduce the next speaker, let me make apologies for Susie, Hope, and Laurice, families, kids and mother, who couldn't find it possible to be here. The next gentleman I am going to introduce is a schoolmate of mine, very close friend, and incidentally, share the same birthday as Roy Williams, right? And that person is Mr. Michael Holding. Mr. Tribute from.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Please allow me a few minutes to talk about my former captain at Melbourne, the great man, Rodney Williams. Yes, I did say the word great, and those of you who have listened to me or have heard me doing my job will know that's a word I don't use freely. But Rodney Williams and Melbourne and greatness, they're all interlocked. Rodney Williams, as I knew him initially as Skipper, people of my generation would know him by that name. People of the later generation would know him as manager. because he captained me and, of course, managed a lot of the Melbourne teams in the latter years. If you look at Roddy Williams' record as a cricketer, as a captain, as a selector, both for Melbourne and, of course, for Jamaica, you recognize that he has been extremely successful. But that is not what, in my opinion, has made Roddy Williams great. Roddy Williams has been great because of him personally. He has been a great man. He certainly nurtured me while I was at Melbourne. He took me under his wings as the captain of the Melbourne Senior Cup team. He taught me a lot, not about bowling, but about being a person, a human being, a competitor, a cricketer. And certainly Roddy Williams has done that to a lot of people at Melbourne Cricket Club. Going down to Melbourne, it's unusual to go down there and to not see Roddy Williams. And yes, we know that that has come to an end now. And we all know that those things are inevitable, but they are still not easy to deal with. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a eulogy that I'm giving. A lot of other people are much more qualified to do that. But I just thought I had to say a few words about Roddy. Roddy, you will be missed. I know you can't hear me, but you will be missed, but you will never be forgotten. And I just want to add my condolences and send them to the family of Roddy Williams and all his friends. Roddy, rest in peace.
Thanks very much, Mr. T. I know that you are tuned into this event, and I don't want you to think that Roddy is not here. All right? I will show you where Roddy is. So Roddy is with us. All right? Let me take a little time and introduce some other people who are here, some very old members of Melbourne. Starting with Mr. Gordon Stair, Mr. Harry Brown, Mr. Keith Reese at the back, Mr. Desmond Alston, Miss Dorothy Hobson, who had served us in many capacities. Cricket, women cricketer, manager of Melbourne Cricket Club. We could go on and on for Dorothy. Thanks very much, Dorothy. There is Miss Monica Williams, who co-chaired the junior, the youngsters, the youth club with Mr. Ruddy Mazuka. Right? She has served us. Mark told you about her. She's responsible for decorating this event. Right? I will get to the others later on in the program. I'm going to ask who's the next person on this list here. Hymn, the reading of the hymn. But hold on, one thing before I do. Let me show you where Roddy Williams is. Follow me. And you would see that, I don't know if you call it a smile or a grin. Right? Roddy is a person that you might not like him, but you can't hate him. That's Roddy the person, I know. Okay, Mr. Reading of the hymn. Reading of the singing of the hymn, but there's a reading.
Yes, the service start now.
Hmm?
The service start.
Oh, the service. And the service start. I
Yes.
understand that. You know who this gentleman is? Eh? Right, so this function couldn't go on without music, you know. Right, so you're going to play all day.
Yes.
And remember, I say you have a bad long, you know.
Yes,
you want
sir.
to move your you know. You
Yes,
see how
sir.
far you come.
Yes, sir.
Eh? So make sure your background
Start the mind. Start the mind. Service starts now. Yeah. Good morning, family. Can you please put your phone on vibrate, if you don't mind, so that it doesn't ring during this church service? We begin. Last night I lay sleeping, there came a dream so fair. I stood in old Jerusalem, beside the temple there. I heard the children singing, and ever as they sang, methought the voice of angels from heaven in answer rang. Methought the voice of angels from heaven in answer rang. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, lift up your gates and sing, Hosanna in the highest, Hosanna to your King. And then methought my dream was changed, the streets no longer rang. Hush were the glad hosannas, the little children sang. The sun grew dark with a mystery, the morn was cold and chill, as a shadow of a cross arose upon the lonely hill, as a shadow of a cross arose upon a lonely hill. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, hark how the angels sing, Hosanna in the highest, Hosanna to your King. And once again the scene was changed, new earth there seemed to be. I saw the holy city beside the tideless sea. The light of God was on its streets, the gates were open wide, and all who would might enter, and to no one was denied. No need of moon or stars by night, or sun to shine by day. It was the new Jerusalem that would not pass away. It was the new Jerusalem that would not pass away. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, sing for the night is o'er. Hosanna in the highest, Hosanna forevermore. Hosanna in
Finish already, Mr. Dwight? Huh? Finish already? Eh? I know that you're not finished, but I thought that you were going to play a little longer. Or you don't play cricket? Okay, so you're gone in for a water break to come back? Okay. Mr. Minister, I understand you take over from here? No, not as yet? You're not ready yet? Okay. We're going to ask Mr. Razak, son, to come and read a lesson. This is the last of Ruddy. Come, Razak.
Good morning. Today's reading is from Ecclesiastes 3, 1 to 13. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born, and a time to die. A time to plant, and a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to kill, and a time to heal. A time to break down, and a time to build up. A time to weep, and a time to laugh. A time to mourn, and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones, and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to get, and a time to lose. A time to keep, and a time to cast away. A time to rend, and a time to sow. A time to keep silent, and a time to speak. A time to love, a time to hate, a time of war, and a time of peace. What profit hath he that worketh in that wherein he laboureth? I have seen the travail which God hath given to the sons of men to be exercised in it. He hath made everything beautiful in his time. Also he has set the world in their heart, so that no man can find out the work that God maketh from the beginning to the end. I know that there is no good in them, but for a man to rejoice and to do good in his life. And also that every man should eat and drink and enjoy the good of all his labor. It is the gift of God. Amen.
Thank you very much for that. And we are just getting into things. According to the program, we're moving into the second innings. So this is all about cricket now, right? There'll be time for feasting. We're gonna hear some tributes, and we're gonna learn some more things about Rodney Williams, because nobody here knows everything about Rodney Williams. That's how he lived his life. So some of the gaps we're going to get filled in. I'm going to invite the sisters to come. Monica Bernard, they're here. Not here. Marva. Oh, this is a recording. Okay, that's okay. That's the time we live in. Mr. Please play.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amru, and I speak on behalf of my sisters, Monica and Marva. Thank you for being here as we celebrate Ruddy's homegoing. We want to say thanks to the Melbourne Cricket Club family for allowing us the use of the pavilion and the grounds, and for being ever so kind, patient, and understanding to Ruddy as his health declined. Thanks to the hard workers who supported him at Ren's Garage, to the caregivers who were handpicked to keep him safe in his last years. And most of all, thanks to our fantastic nieces and nephews, Nari, Larice, Susie, Charlene, Asif, Leanne, Tara, Ruddy, Renee, and Razak. You all placed your lives on hold to care for your father. Excellent job. Thank you so much. Ruddy was a young man when our father passed away, and we can only imagine how scared he was when Daddy, on his dying bed, asked him to take care of the family. But guess what, Ruddy? You did a fantastic job. You delivered. You did it. We will forever miss you and treasure the memories. Memories of the good old days at Howard Avenue as a family. Memories of all of us at the kitchen table waiting on Mama's hot dal roti and curry goat. We will always remember our last video call, just a week before you left us. You were so happy. You had us in stitches. Your mission here is completed, and now it's time for you to rest. May the angels in heaven greet you with open arms. Rest well, dearest brother. We will see you when we get there.
Tribute is from the daughters. Are they here, or is that a recording?
Hello all, I'm Larice, Daddy's firstborn girl. Daddy had a way to make you feel as though you are the best thing in the world. He took Daddy's little girl to a whole new level. He showed interest in everything I had to say. You had no doubt you were loved and that he was proud of you. Not only proud of you, but proud to be our father. I'm sure all of his children, 10 of us, share this sentiment. Through Daddy's words and actions, joy and pride of being our father, he kept all 10 of us close, and thus a bond that is very strong and second to none has been formed among me and my 9 siblings. You can tell Daddy wanted the absolute best for us. Daddy loved us. He was patient with us. He was kind and gentle towards us. A friend recently asked me why at my age I am still calling my father Daddy. My answer, he is and will always be my daddy. I just loved him. I love him. He was simply nice. I look at how he lived, how he treated those around him, whether it be his family or his colleagues at the shop or his fellow cricket lovers. He practiced what he preached. He always had the utmost respect for everyone and anyone he came across. In the past few weeks, I have seen articles and writings about Daddy. People using words like irreplaceable, immeasurable, a giant, showing their love and admiration for him. Words and expression that parallel my experience with him as his daughter. This is the impression he has left on this world. This is what matters, how we live our life, how we treat others, the true impact we have on those around us. I'd like to take the opportunity to read this poem I came across titled The Dash. I read of a man who stood to speak at a funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on the tombstone from beginning to end. He noted that First came the date of birth and spoke of the following dates with tears. But he said what mattered most of all was the dash between those years. For that dash represents all the time they spent alive on earth, and now only those who loved them know what that little line is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live and love and how we spend our dash. So think about this long and hard. And are there things you like to change? For you never know how much time is left that still can be rearranged. To be less quick to anger and show appreciation more, and love the people in our lives like we have never loved before. If we treat each other with respect and more often wear a smile, remembering that this special dash might only last a little while. So when your eulogy is being read, with your life's actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things they say about how you lived your dash?
Hello everyone, I'm Susie, the third of Daddy's 10 children. I was not able to make it there. I just wanted to send a few words. I know in life we're going to lose a family, we may lose a family member, a friend, and we're going to feel the pain and our hearts will hurt. We will wish we had another day to spend with the person. We will wish we had another word to say. We wish we had another hug. And we wish we had another cricket story from Daddy. And then, trust me when I tell you, there were enough cricket stories. I know from growing up in Jamaica, I went to Alpha, so Sabina was right there. And I remember at times Daddy used to pick us up from school, and if there was a cricket match at Sabina, he will be taking us over there to watch some cricket. In the teachings and all the stories that Daddy gave us about cricket, I learned to love and appreciate the game. I'm gonna miss the advice that Daddy used to give me on cars. I remember I used to call up Daddy, what car you think I should get? Or my sister may be getting a car. Daddy, we're planning to get this car. And he would give us his advice on what car you think we should get. I remember getting my first car, saving up, buying my first car. A little putt-putt. I never called Daddy to ask him what he thought. And that car left me on the side of the road. And then I called Daddy, of course, and asked him, Daddy, the car break down on me, leave me on the side of the road. And I told him all the symptoms, what I heard, the noise that the car was making, and he was like, that sounds like you need spark plugs, man. I went out, I bought those spark plugs. Not even think twice about it. I went out, got the spark plugs, put them in, and lo and behold, the car started. I remember I called Daddy, the car start? And he was, yeah man, you see what I tell you? And I was like, yeah man, I see it. And we both laughed at that. And I remember all the laughter that Daddy and I went through, with all the corny jokes that he used to give, and thinking they were so funny. He gave us some funny ones too, but the corny ones was funny. You had to laugh because they were so corny. And he laughed at them as well when he's giving a joke. And that even made it more funny, because he's laughing, you're laughing, and it was funny as hell, let me tell you. But I will always cherish those memories. I will always cherish the laughter, and I will be thankful for the time well spent. And in saying that, bye, Daddy. Love you, Daddy.
Next tribute from the sister is Amnu. Is she here? Mama. Who's it now? The daughters.
Hi everyone. I'm Charlene. My time at the wiki will be pretty short too. I'm just gonna talk. Huh? The mic, not this one. Oh, sorry. I just have a small, short poem titled "He's Gone" by David Harkins. You can shed tears that he is gone, or you can smile because he lived. You can close your eyes and pray that he will come back, or you can open your eyes and see all that he has left. Your heart can be empty because you can't see him, or you can be full of love that you shared. You can turn your back on tomorrow and live yesterday, or you can be happy for tomorrow because of yesterday. You can remember him and only that he is gone, or you can cherish his memory and let it live on. You can cry and close your mind, be empty and turn your back, or you can do what he would want, smile, open your eyes, love, and go on.
Thank you very much, Charlene. Now it's time for the big man, the man who was instrumental in putting on this event here and making sure that it is here. I mean, he was born in Melbourne, right? For those of you who don't know, his mother played cricket here. Right, Dorothy? She was right. So, unfortunately, Asif played jacks. Right? So, Asif, it's your turn. Give us a story.
Good morning, all. Again, all right. I'm going to put some words down here, but you know, if anything flows into my mind, I'm just going to go with it. All right. I'll roll with it. All right. The first thing I'm going to say is I didn't share as much of cricket with Dad as many of you here. So of course I do have some envy for that. A lot of the time when the cricket was going on, a lot of the time when cricket was going on and Dad was playing too, I remember, I was literally playing. I was running up and down with Stefan Steer and Carlton, Blue. You know, I was all over this place. Even before this was built, I was in the blocks as it went up, as the second story went up here. You know, but of course that didn't prevent Dad from trying with me, you know. So of course, you know, I did have, I mean, I have memories here at Melbourne, at Sabina, numerous other grounds across the country, and even one time in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I don't know if he was still trying then, because I was an adult at college at the time, so I don't know, you know. I know he knew I didn't have a future in it. But, you know, this place is strong in my heart, of course, because, you know, I remember, I won't call any names, but some off-color jokes at the bar right down there. You know, I won't say, because I was still underage. But I was just getting my soda that I thought Daddy paid for by just signing the paper. when I ran into the poker room and he was like, get out, we're gambling. You know? Cricket for me was more culture and the food and the things like that I shared with Dad. You know, there was a culture of friendliness. I remember being at the George Headley stand at Sabina with Dad, and somebody was always there to share. If it's bully beef or something, peanuts Dad would buy or something like that, but it was our time, you know? I have to say that probably was more enjoyable to me than the game at the time. It was the culture of this thing. I never saw anything like this anywhere else. You don't see it at the stadium, you see it at Sabina. You see it at Melbourne when you come here, and you know, and everybody know when you see Dad at a function and he's a part of some organization, you're it, that is his thing, right? So cricket for me was, I didn't have that early appreciation like my brother Razak and my nephew Zidane, who my brother Nari made sure had an appreciation for sport. For me, it came as an adult. And then at the university meeting, Dr. Christine Cummins, who made me understand that cricket, the culture of cricket that I thought was my birthright, was very legitimate, right? So after that, Dad and I could talk about cricket. You know, as adults, we could talk. I could appreciate it. I could say, I remember seeing this man bowling, that man bowling, or that man batting, right? I saw Viv Richards. I saw all these greats, you know. I saw Roddy Williams, right? So I got that opportunity. That was a part of my life with Dad. You know, this whole period of illness, about the last 4 or 5 years, you know, before this, I thought my father was invulnerable. I thought he was the biggest man in the world. And I thought that him could, you know, there's just nobody that could stop him. You know, I thought that all of the people that respected him and loved him, and whether he was Manage, Skip, Ruddy Pork, whatever, Ren, no matter what it was, let me discard this for the time being. No matter what it was, it just seemed like such a larger than life thing to me. You know, I remember when he came back from Florida having done triple bypass, guys, yeah. And it was the first time I saw any kind of weakness in the armor. And, you know, I never, you know, Grace and nodding, you know what I mean? It's just, I saw him come out in a chair. And this was like, it was unheard of. What manner of person, what manner of thing takes down a Titan, you know what I mean? So I remember a call I got that stuck with me was from a longtime neighbor, Anthony Abbott. The Abbotts couldn't be here. They did call and said I wouldn't be able to make it. But Anthony Abbott said to me, don't look at the illness that he suffered in the end as him. He was much more than that before this. And Anthony put it away that I was just like, yes, this is it. This is what I want. He said, Mr. Williams used to mash the earth. So, you know, I could have just seen him stepping and doing this thing. He was always confident. He do whatever, you know, that was it. So this person that we were looking after towards the end that you hear Auntie Amber talking about is not really him. You know, yes, it was his body, but as the mind went, we have to be real about it and no, there's no stigma, there's nothing. He was not well. And, you know, though he may have been blunted, you hear Susie talking about the corny jokes, those did not stop. They may have been repeated a little bit more, but they didn't stop. And we were enjoying it every single time. And, you know, there are other things. And like I'll tell you, another thing that connected us was food. My wife will tell you that she has tried many times to find a curry goat on my birthday that would make me happy, because she know if them put raisin or something like that in there, it vex, because that never happened at my house. My father did curry the way it was done at Oxford, St. Mary, right? Right? So Oxford St. Mary is as far as I'm concerned, is the standard of Corrigoat. And I would hear him, and Marva Bernard said this in a post she put on my Facebook. We were having Corrigoat for breakfast, and Dad would be in there chopping. I think that is what woke me up. Meat chopping, you know, loud, intentional in the morning on a Sunday morning. And I remember that he would do it, and he would have these wisps of flour that he called flexi dumpling. He behaved like this thing was an art and a science and the highest culinary thing, the culinary order. And somebody whispered to me that his mistake in making him couldn't knead the dumpling properly. Right? So, but it was flexi dumpling. So now it's Corrigoat and flexi dumpling on a Sunday morning. Nothing was better. Nothing was better. You know, to me, that was a part of it. I took what I wanted to take from things that I loved. I loved the fact that he was always teasing me. I love that he teased my siblings. I teased them relentlessly, especially the girls. I teased them relentlessly. They will throw it back at me, you know? And I'm glad that Darren is here, because I just reminded him about a trip to the North Coast for a match. And we were coming back through the junction, and Darren got ribbed from North Coast through the junction. I mean, this is when no highway was there, guys, so this is ours. Darren dropped one catch in the match, and them wouldn't stop on him. I mean, we had about 5 people in the match, the people playing and Dad, and they were just at Darren, the one catch. And I remember that thing, and I just felt all right. I think I was about maybe 16, 17. I just joined in too and made my shot at Darren too. But thanks for being a sport about that, Darren. But I think what we learned from that was, you know, sometimes you're not going to do so well, but you can bounce back from it. And though I wasn't playing, I understood how to lose. I understood how to be wrong, how to not have to, you know, to feel it on that ground and know that you can come back, the resilience that you will have. I have to say though, the last couple of weeks with all the distractions and everything, it's still daunting to me that we have to lose my father. Thank you. All right, that's it.
Asif, that was short, man. I was expecting more.
Sometimes I have to depend on the ball and
Never play cricket at Jocks, that thing was chop on. How it go? Chop on, draw some things. Anyway, thanks very much, Asif. You need a mic for the people. Sorry. Yes, thanks very much, Asif, and all those things you talk about, the food and all that. I remember following Ruddy to Howard Avenue to get the roti to come back to Melbourne. I'll tell you one incident I had with Ruddy. All right, we went to buy ice. Got cricket, I don't know, the ice one didn't turn up at Melbourne. So we went down to Kingston Ice Factory. I don't know if you people, you're old enough to know Kingston Ice Factory. So we came out of the car, I think I drove, and parking up, and we're going to the cashier to buy the ice. And I just see a man run up from behind somewhere. And I don't know how he knew that Roddy Williams had the money in his top pocket. Right? And the guy just pick out the money and run up, must be up faster lane or something like that. Well, I thought that this is somebody that Roddy knew. Roddy said, well, just pick me. Right? Fortunately, his own money was in his pocket, because probably that is the money that he got from Melbourne to buy the ice, right? So we were able to buy the ice and come back. Well, I tell you, we had some bad times and good times, all right? We're getting into the meat of things. Mr. Dwight, it's your turn again, sir. Turn on the music. Let's go.
And now the end is here, and so I'll face my final curtain, my start again from the top, start again from the top. Yeah. And now the end is here, and so I'll face my final curtain. My friends, I say it clear and state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I've traveled each and every highway, but more, much more than this, I did it my way. Regrets, 'cause I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. 'Cause I did what I had to do and saw it through without exemption. I've planned each charted course, each careful step along those byways. Oh no, not Ruddy. He has done it God's way. Yes, there were times, I'm sure you all knew, when he bit off more than he could chew. But through it all, when there were downs, he ate it up and spit it out. He faced it all, and he stood tall and did it God's way. I've loved, I've laughed, I've cried, I've had my fill, my share of losing. And now, as tears subside, I find it all so amusing to think I did all that, and may I say, never shy ways. Oh no, not me. I did it my way. For what is a man? What has he got if not himself? Oh, then he is not to say the things that he truly feels, and not the words of one who needs. Face it all, and you stood tall and did it my Rest in peace, Roddy. You've done it your way.
nobody else here dared to try to do it Ruddy's way. I know I couldn't. All right, we're getting down to things. We're going to have Tara. You're here. Great. Asif. See the resemblance. Welcome, Tara.
Good morning. So this is for Daddy. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think about your father? There are several definitions of what a father should be. I was fortunate enough to have known the definition for my father. Daddy was funny, an advisor, thoughtful, helpful, exceptional, and reliable. Thank you, Daddy, for all the times you answered my calls, even if it was over 100 times per day. You always listened. Thank you for being there for the greatest achievements, but even more importantly, for the biggest mistakes. Thank you for all the laughter and jokes, even the corny ones. You have shown me that there is never a dull moment, especially with a big family. Those little moments of, no, Tara, I don't have no McDonald's money, but then somehow, a few days later, you managed to grant my request. You were always ready to follow me on the road, especially to Helshaw. I will never forget all the 4 a.m. drop-offs to the airport where you would walk with your lass. Your passion and tenacity has taught me to live life by what you want and what brings you joy. Thank you, Daddy, for all the love you have given unconditionally.
Ruddy and Renee. So, video. Okay, these are the daughters of Anne, right? Okay. Let's go. That's Anne Hall. All right.
Hi, I'm Rudy. Hi, I'm Renee. And this is our tribute to our dad.
Unforgettable, that's what you are. Unforgettable, though near or far.
My father was always calm, cool, and collective. He was always unbothered, even when things weren't going as planned. He was always very relaxed, and you would not have known that he was upset or stressed. He was just always relaxed, and it must be sorted out one day.
He might make a comment here and there about it, but he's moving right along. With that, Daddy is a jokester. So, especially when the joke is not to be made,
he was always making jokes that were just not funny, but to him, really funny. To him, he was.
Daddy is definitely a foodie.
Like, always eating.
All the time.
Always.
And if he's eating, you're eating too.
Even if you say no, he's coming back to ask you again. If you're okay
with the
and
food.
if you want some, you're gonna eventually take
eating.
some. Okay, whether it be Chinese, Indian, you know, snacks. Always
Always eating.
And Daddy could throw down in the kitchen. I definitely look forward to him making ackee and corn pork and boiled chicken and curry wings. Oh.
As well as always bringing fish and lobster from Hellshire. Like,
there's always some food, and we celebrated with food. We graduated, we eating. You know, we had our dance show, we eating. Whatever it is, there's always food.
Always food.
Yeah. Outside of that, Daddy was very protective.
Yes, he was. He always had us. If anything happened, Daddy would be coming. Nobody is going to mess with his children.
Daddy was also passionate in everything that he did, and it was his love for
cricket,
yeah,
food,
being an entrepreneur,
everything,
and his love for family that kept him going. Like, he did it purely out of passion. Daddy was also present and very reliable.
Yes, with time, especially, and if he's picking you up from school, he is on time and he is coming and he knows his routine every morning and he's on time.
Yeah, me and Renee were not on time with him, but he was definitely on time. If he said he's picking you up at X time, best believe Daddy is there at X time to pick you up. He definitely did not miss any shows. We had dance shows every year, Christmas shows, and he didn't miss any. I don't know if he was awake through the whole show, but definitely present, and with a video recorder in hand.
Daddy was also a traveler. Like, he loved going overseas as well as locally to hotels or any spot he could find, especially if there's food. He was always ready to do the long drives and go and just spend time, and it helped us with our memories and just having fun growing up.
Yeah, we definitely had some good memories traveling.
Daddy was also very humble. Like, we'd be driving or we'd be at home and we hear his name on the TV and he ignored it. Like, he did not respond, and I used to have to be like, Daddy,
that's you.
And he's like, and he just moves along. Like, it was never anything to boast about for him, unless he was in the mood to make a joke about it.
Right, and we definitely got the jokes, especially when he was awarded Badge of Honor. He definitely had jokes coming. We practiced shuffles daily, and he was so happy, and we were so proud of it. On the day, I remember him asking, where's my limo? And we laughed. We had so many good laughs that day, but Daddy continued to be so down to earth throughout our lives. Seeing, you know, the people who have reached out now,
the response,
yeah, and to see his impact, we're just so proud.
Definitely. But most of all, Daddy is certainly loved. My father taught me to be unapologetic, to be you, live your life your way, and make yourself happy in life.
Yeah, for sure. I think my dad definitely taught me to live life the way that I want to live it, while taking care of the people around you. Daddy treated people really well. Time is never enough, but we are so grateful for all the memories that we were able to make over the years and all the quality time that we're able to spend. Those are things that we will hold on to forever. You know, we'll definitely always think of Daddy.
Definitely, and we're truly proud to be able to say that that is our father, and words cannot describe the person he was and the father he was to us, and we definitely miss him.
Yeah. Love you.
Goodbye, happiness.
Bye.
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 how touching. Why this life, this thing you call life. Ooh. Before I introduce Eliane, let me tell you that, Eliane, I don't know if your mother told you this, that's Donna Stevens, that we met through a mutual friend, again at my workplace, Desiree Russell. All right? Long time before you. And later on in life, we attended retreats for Jamaica Employees Federation in Oshres. She was alive for Jamaica that time. So I just thought I'd give that part of the history. So I'm so happy to be a part of this occasion. Come and tell us all you know and all that you remember about your father.
Good morning, everyone. Oh, yes. Good afternoon. My apologies. To write a remembrance on one has to recollect a series of memories, experiences, moments that created a life's journey. The more I learned about my father, Ruddy Williams, while growing up, taking care of him, and even after his passing, the more I've been blown away. Over these years, I've slowly unpacked this life full of extraordinary moments lived by an outstanding human being. This was not an ordinary life. I have made the conclusion that these remarkable experiences must make him someone special, someone abnormal, someone exceptional. My conclusion? My father was a superhero. Yes, he could easily have fit as one of the well-known comic book heroes, an Avenger. He could actually rub shoulders with the likes of Superman. He would not have on tights or a cape, but his outfit was more subtle, a little under the radar, not too flashy. Ruddy Williams, the superhero, would be dressed in the finest polo shirt, paired with a bootcut jeans, and my personal favorite, to add a little razzle-dazzle, a cap of assorted colors. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I will be sharing with you the Ruddy Winant Williams hero journey. With all hero journeys, there is a beginning. The journey began on February 16, 1941, in Oxford, St. Mary. He was the firstborn of Alfonso and Pearl Williams. Alfonso Williams, his father, was a soldier in the British West Indies Regiment and later became a supervisor at Caribbean Spray Painting Company, commercial painters, and sandblasting all over the island. His mother, Pearl Williams, who wore many hats, she was a teacher at Freehill Primary in St. Mary, a canteen operator, as well as an entrepreneur. Dad was born to two hard-working parents who valued family and togetherness. I believe this was Dad's first example of leadership, hard work, and love. Dad had very fond memories of his early childhood, growing up in St. Mary. He would speak highly of his grandparents, Durham, and Ethel Edwards, and their influence on him. Growing up in the parish of St. Mary, Dad was always full of pride, and he never let us forget that. Every chance he got, he would let us know, I St. Mary me come from. After the end of World War II in the late 40s, his parents felt the family needed a new start. At a young age, little Ruddy, now affectionately known as Ren, migrated to Kingston to live on Howard Avenue with his now growing family. Little Ren started attending Halfway Tree Primary and quickly adapted to the big city pace and surroundings. Like a hero in the making, he rose to his new challenge of change and made it his own. In every hero's journey, there is a call for adventure and challenge. Some element or person that rushes into their life and changes their trajectory. Something magical, something life-altering. Ruddy met the art form called cricket. It was love and a connection that would make Romeo and Juliet jealous. He did play cricket for fun when he was younger, but there was a discovery while playing in Kingston that it was more than just a sport. While exploring his love for cricket, Ren was also participating in new experiences by starting his first job in Kingston Industrial Garage in 1957. Dad thrived at his new job. His role in the mechanics, motor vehicle parts department on Spanish Town Road was commendable. With his budding superhero powers, Dad excelled at his new job. He knew every part like the back of his hand. Who needs a parts manual when you have Ruddy around? Dad's work ethic was impeccable. There was a drive and an enthusiasm to do his best at whatever was placed before him. In 1958, Dad started playing with KSEA at Maxfield Park. He stayed with them for 6 years. He then moved on to play with Lucas Cricket for 1 year. In this part of our hero's journey, there was a call for adventure and a call for purpose. Our beloved hero was searching for a place to flourish, to be of service, and just belong. Well, the stars aligned and destiny smiled on these two meeting. Ruddy Williams joined Melbourne. What a love at first sight, a cosmic connection. In 1964, Dad became a member of the Melbourne Cricket Club. In addition, he quickly became captain of the team in 1972 and retained the captaincy until 1977. Ren finally found a place to hone and develop his superpowers. Melbourne Cricket Club gave my father the opportunity to grow as a man, a leader, a team player, a friend, and a place to eat curry goat and roti every chance he got. While he was planting his roots at Melbourne, Dad was making waves with his career choices. In the early 70s, the auto mechanic repairs and motor vehicle parts industry was swiftly booming in Jamaica, and Dad was booming with it. It is inevitable that heroes have to be independent and resourceful. Ruddy was ready to go on his own and use all he learned from Kingston Industrial Garage, mixed with his own entrepreneurial skills, and apply it to his new business. Just like that, Rent Car Rental Company Limited was born. Of course, one must start small. The first location for Renz was no other than Howard Avenue, his family home. Remember, heroes need to be resourceful. And his mother, along with his siblings, understood that. The company majored in auto mechanic work, specializing in buying, fixing, and renting cars. In 1973, our superhero expanded his business and acquired land at 62 and 63 Walton Park Road. At Ren's, he also fostered connection and good rapport, both with customers and employees. The thing is, it was more than just a garage. And it was a place to share stories, tell jokes, and even rest your head in between errands. Ren's Car Rental became a place for community. Some workers to this day are still considered family based on the relationship maintained over the years. Dad kept on being successful, both at the garage and at Melbourne. There was a need for him to make people and his surroundings better for all. He took on roles on and off the field with enthusiasm and zest. Positions such as team manager, chairman of selectors, and other jobs and responsibilities, some too many to list. All jobs he took on had its challenges. Nevertheless, heroes were used to challenges, and Dad was about to face his biggest one, an ordeal that would test every fiber of him. In 2000, Ruddy was diagnosed with heart disease. With the help of his sisters, our superhero was rushed to Florida for an open heart surgery. It was a scary time for our hero, but with true willpower and support from family and friends, my father was steadily able to recover and was back on his feet after the triple bypass. As you might have observed, Rodney Williams is father of many. In the midst of giving his time and support to cricket in Jamaica and being a businessman, Rodney Williams loved family and would do anything for his sisters, children, and cousins. I always marveled at how he found time to be there for all of us. He was extremely selfless. There's a particular memory that made a deep impression on me. I recall him just about to start eating a box lunch in his car while picking me up from school. By the way, I love a box lunch. A standard box lunch consisting of one fried chicken leg with rice and peas and a little raw vegetable on the side. It smelled delicious. I asked, "Daddy, can I have some?" Without hesitation, Dad happily stopped eating and passed the entire box lunch to me. I was thrilled. I started to enjoy my food. Then in the car, across from me, I heard some strange sounds coming from his stomach. At that moment, it dawned on me that Dad sacrificed his need to eat for the sake of my benefit. Dad would willingly do without to allow someone else to have. If that is not a hero, then what is? My father's health was his biggest foe. He later battled with other new developing health conditions during the last 7 years of his life. However, Rodney Williams was a fighter and had a strong spirit and a great sense of humor, even at his lowest points. I remember once I jokingly said to him, "Happy Mother's Day." And he quickly responded, "Thanks, son." On this hero journey, Roddy went on adventures, victorious in countless decisive crises, and comes home changed. Yes, he's home. Where is home? That's up for debate. But I sincerely believe that my beloved father, grandfather, friend, team player, boss, and mentor. To many, he's right here with us, in the best seats, ever looking down on us, smiling and eating corn pork and dumpling on a malta. Some might argue that calling him a hero is a strong word. But they say that a hero is a person who is admired for their courage, outstanding achievements, or noble qualities, selflessness for the betterment of others. Born an ordinary man who did extraordinary things. He was a wealthy man whose wealth was people and connection. If you were fed by him, that means you were loved by him. Rest in peace, my hero. Ruddy, Winant, Williams. We will always, always love you.
Cry if you must. Let those be tears of joy and not tears of sadness. Because Roddy would always want us to be happy. That's how he lived his life. So we know that those tears are tears of joy. You feel it, but they are tears of joy. Wow. We're getting down to it. We're getting close up play. Soon 6. We're here at and Reverend. It's going to be your time again. And I know that you have an audience. I mean, you can't see the people downstairs, you know. So I'm just letting you know, as many people that are up here, similar amount downstairs, and the internet. So this is your time, right? So sit back and let's take a ride.
It's now 5:30 in the afternoon, and I noticed that they have put me tail end. And tail end is when all the good batsmen have been in and got out, and only the not so good batsmen are left. But had I been on the English team, the tail end starts with the opening bat. Now, there's no sport that accepts a diverse range of body types like cricket does. And as I saw all the ladies coming up, I couldn't help but think of fine legs, square legs, and short legs. And having listened to all the accolades and tributes concerning Ruddy, a question came to my mind. Did you hear about the guy who was so happy he found a girlfriend who loves playing cricket? She bowled him over. There you go. And when Donna asked me if I'd be willing to participate in this funeral or Thanksgiving liturgy service, I never hesitated. Since July of last year, I became Donna's pastor at Holy Cross Church in Halfway Tree. And I told her, yes, I would. And here we are this afternoon by now, 5:32. The story is told of a woman is giving birth, and her husband rushes to the hospital to be there. And on his way, he decides to call the hospital to see how she's doing. But he accidentally calls the local cricket ground. And someone answers the phone, and the guy says, "Hi, how's everything going there?" And the person on the other end of the line says, "Well, we have 3 out and hope to have the rest out by lunch. The last one was a duck." And here we are today to give thanks for Ruddy and to mourn his death, because Ruddy has come to the end of his game. It would be easy and true to say that we are diminished by his death, but perhaps better to say that we have been enriched by his life. And for that we can give enormous thanks to Almighty God. In the reading we heard, read by Asif from Rajav. Oh, not Asif. Oh, sorry. Not as if. No, but read by? All right. There's a time for every matter under heaven. Not just a time to be born, and not just a time to die. But the reading adds that there's a time for all the other things that make for an ordered and balanced life. Time to plant and pluck up, time to weep and time to laugh, time to embrace and to refrain from embracing. In other words, time to live in the present moment and not to hanker after what once was or might be. And Ruddy seemed to live a contented life that recognized there were seasons to be lived through, including more difficult seasons. And I'd just like to briefly link some of the seasons that Ruddy lived to what happens at a match, or some of the terms that go along with cricket. I'm sure Ruddy must have lived through a season of being an opening bat. They say that the bats are solid and cannot be opened, but the phrase means one of the first 2 batsmen to go in. I'm sure Ruddy lived through the season of a maiden over. And the word maiden can mean a young woman or a female virgin. We believe it is the second meaning that is used in cricket, as the phrase means an over when the batsman didn't score. If someone had scored, she wouldn't be a maiden anymore. Roddy must have lived through a season of being a good hooker. Not as interesting as you might think. It means that a batsman is good at hitting the ball away to his leg side. Ruddy must have lived through square leg, a feeling position, not a disability. He must have lived through first slip, another feeling position, nothing to do with falling over women's clothes. Then there are second, third, fourth slips, more feeling positions, not a comedy of errors. Rodney must have lived through a time of silly mid-on, off point. Again, more fielding positions, which may or may not have silly fielders in them. Rodney must have lived during a time where you whip the balls off. Not an instant castration, but to knock the top pieces off the stumps. Ruddy lived through a time of no ball. There is a ball, but it was not bowled correctly, and the batsman gets a free shot and an extra run. Ruddy must have lived through a season of buy. You don't have to buy them, they come free. It means that the batsman scored a run without hitting the ball. Ruddy must have had many hours before play. And an hour before play, the bar is open. Ruddy must have lived through rain stopping play. And when rain stops the play, the bar is still open. Ruddy must have lived through the season of bad light stopping play. And when bad light stops the play, the bar is still open. Ruddy, of course, must have lived through the season, end of play for the day, and the bar is still open. He must have lived through the season where there is a streaker on the pitch. Someone has spent all day in the bar. Ruddy must have lived through the season when England are in a commanding position. And when that happens, the commentator has spent all day in the bar. Ruddy must have lived through a batting collapse. And when that happens, England playing. Cricket is not about winning or losing. It is about playing the game with manners and sportsmanship, being far more important than the final score. Anything else just is not cricket. So for those who go through life and have the mentality of winning at all costs, life is too short for cricket. But more seriously and less speculatively, when someone like Ruddy dies, there is inevitable grief for those who miss him. And we keep his children in our prayers as they and we mourn. Because together we can hold to the sure and certain hope of the resurrection of our Lord Jesus Christ. John Steinbeck once wrote that, and I quote, "The effectiveness of a man's life can be measured by the depths of the wounds that his death leaves on others." And I repeat that quote. The effectiveness of a man's life can be measured by the depths of the wounds that his death leaves on others. End of quote. Ruddy's death inevitably hurts for his family, his friends, and his sports family. But we worship a God who heals wounds gently. and effectively, leaving a scar that is a reminder of love given and received. Ruddy's legacy will live on in his family, including his grandchildren, and in the cricket fraternity. So, Nari, Loris, Suzanne, Charlene, Asif, Leanne, Tara, Ruth, Ruddy, and Renee, and Razak, Zidane, Madison, Isaiah, Monica, Amour, Sherry, family, friends, the Melbourne Cricket Club, and the Jamaica Cricket Fraternity. Ruddy has left the crease and now sits in the stand watching us play our game of life. Let us play it well. Rest in peace, Ruddy. Amen.
Disappointed, all right? You have disappointed. Didn't make it to closer play. Roddy was a good number 11, right? And there's an innings here that he held on for quite some time, right? Never got out, right? Okay, sir, I hear you. Yeah. You're satisfied with your innings. We're getting there. We're getting there. It's time for the music, man. I just want to inform you that after this event, we have some food and refreshment. The bar is going to be opened. As Roddy would have it, we're going to bring on the domino tables, the card tables, and we're going on till curfew. Right? So, and our curfew time here is 9 p.m. Right? So we have a long day, and those of you who are like me, self-employed, which is a type you earn when you're unemployed, right? We have all day. Okay? So, Dwight, your time, let's go.
Recession, yes. So we all of us get up and dance.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you for coming out. The chairs are tired. They can get up on the chairs now. Yeah. Feel that you can go on, 'cause all of your hope is gone, and your life is confusion. Of your happiness is just an illusion, and your world around is crumbling down. Darling, reach out, girl.
much biology, don't know much about a science book, don't know much about the French I took, but I do know that I love you, and I know that if you love me too, what a wonderful world this would be. Don't know much about geography, don't know much trigonometry, don't know much about algebra, don't know what a sliding rule is for, but I do know 1 and 1 is 2. And if this one could be with you, what a wonderful world this would be. Now I don't claim to be an A student, but I'm trying to be, for maybe by being an A student, baby, I can win your love for me. Don't know much about history, don't know much biology, don't know much about a science book, don't know much about the French I took, but I do know that I love you, and I know that if you love me too, what a wonderful world this would be. La ta 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 ta. It's your